What's up guys, this is What's Up Chan. Today in this episode I would like to talk about the part of economics which is demand and supply and some mechanisms related to it. Please enjoy. First of all, this is the graph for demand. And in demand is the quantity of substances that demand is the substance that customer wants to buy, and as the number of demands increases, the companies will like it because more greater the demand, the greater income or profit the market will have. But the thing happens is that as demand increases, the quantity of or output that market will produce will increase to match with the rate of demand. But as the number of output increases, the prices falls down. And that's the graph that shows this. As the number keeps going on, as quantity increases, prices decrease. This is the graph of demand. And let's look at the supply. Supply is the quantity that market prepares that can be sold to customers. And in the graph of supply, supply increases, and it means that as the supply increases, quantity increases, demand will be fitted, or like it says, demand increased first, and because demand increased, when demand increase and supply is not enough, the prices goes up. Yeah, that's true. Like demand is high but the stock is less. Like 10 person wants to buy a pencil but there's only one pencil, and the price of pencil will rise up like to $100. That's how the real market works, and this such mechanism is applied to the graph, and it is shown by here. And demand and supply always work together, so they meet together in one graph showing this one. And the crossing point is called equilibrium, and it is the perfect point that every market or economy tries to reach on. It is like when demand goes down, supplies goes up, and supply, since it's up, supply goes to down to match equilibrium, and demand increases to match the equilibrium, and such flow of each other like this always like go through in the trends, and it's called like business cycle, or where they make a sine graph, and they always fluctuate, and whenever it reaches the equilibrium, it is the point that they made most successful event. The demand and supply equals. So this is equilibrium, and every market fluctuates to match in this equilibrium. And I want to talk one more thing, which is this one. This is a similar graph. This is the similar graph with demand and supply, and it shows that as expansion reaches peak, goes down, recession meets the trough. And I will describe this graph. This is called a business cycle. The top of the cycle is called peak. If there is big jump in output, a very high peak, it's called boom. Boom is like here. And eventually any expansion reaches a peak, and at that point the economy starts to fall and there is downturn in business activity. It's like demand is reduced and supply there is so many that the price of supply should be decreased. And the recession means this point. rather than recession, there is a more specific term which is downturn. If downturn continues for more than 2 quarters, it becomes recession. If it continues for a long time period and the cycle falls to a very low point, it reaches a depression. Depression is more lower than trough. Economists have not established a formal line for dividing recession from depression, but this test suggested that during a depression, unemployment exceeds 12% for more than 1 year. The bottom of a recession or depression is called a trough. When the economy begins moving out of trough, economists say it is in upturn. It's like since there are so many supplies, price decreased, and since price is decreased, customers are more willing to buy a thing, like demand increases as a result, and as the demand results, the prices increases, and that's the step for this upturn. Yeah, if an upturn continues for more than 2 consecutive quarters, it's called expansion, which in turn leads to another peak. And to help you understand business cycle, let's begin the expansion phase. At this point, the economy appears to be doing well, like they're doing well. Demand for goods and services is high, so demand for workers is also high. Wage rates rise and unemployment drops. As more workers have more money to spend for more goods and services, the economy continues to expand. They are rising and rising. Eventually, expansion brings economy to its peak, and shortage of qualified workers, increasing wages, and high demand cause prices to increase. The increased flow of money and credit creates a period of inflation. Rising prices ultimately result in lower demand, and a downturn begins as sales decrease. Workers are laid off and can no longer make major purchases. Employment and income continues to decrease because demand for goods falls. Business decrease prices, but the resulting increase in sales is not enough to make up for the previous decrease in demand. Finally, the economy reaches the bottom of the cycle. The bottom of the trough reaches when prices drop so low that demand for new goods and services begin to rise. A rise in demand causes business to expand, triggering the upturn phase of the cycle. So listeners, I talked about demand and supply, equilibrium, and how the business cycle flow. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.